Subirás con rey. Si tu futuro está oscuro, espera seguro. Lo sé, esa es baby. Futuro ahora ven. Esa es baby. Espera siempre. Esa es baby. Futuro ahora ven. Esa es baby.
Hey, everybody. It is time for your Browns Friday Fumble.
Fall on it.
Don't try to pick it up and run. My name
Please
is
do not.
Dave.
I'm Dylan.
And we're back.
Oh, what a time to be alive in the city of Cleveland and football and, man.
You know what? Strange times.
Strange times.
These are strange times we're in. And you know what? Dylan and I mean...
Yeah, let's explain. Let's explain why it's strange, Dave.
It's strange, and I'm sure you guys are all knowing why. I mean, we've been gone for 9 months. We talked to our boss, Mr. Craig. He had gone to some sort of seminar around Christmas in Silicon Valley about, tech startups, technology, starting up tech, and, and his suggestion to us, and by suggestion, I mean order, is he said, you guys got to get out of town. You guys got to get...
We were not taking the 2019 season well.
No. And he said, it's time for you guys to take a sabbatical, recharge. He's like, I need you guys ready for next year. The whole website waiting for next year. I need you ready for next year. So that's what he said. He got us out of there. And, we at first... not super crazy about it.
Yeah, I was very much against the sabbatical idea. Now, granted, not for family reasons or anything. My wife and 5 kiddos, they'd pretty much been living autonomously since, mid-season last year.
2019 was not just a turbulent season for the Browns. It was a turbulent time in your life.
A family life, personal life, and I was in a deep, dark pit of despair, and it couldn't hold a job, and so they were pretty used to it. I just don't like airplane travel,
and I do, because
yes.
I love racking up those frequent flyer miles. So I had racked up enough points that I was able to get into business class. Dylan, unfortunately, was not able to. But I said, well, if we're going traveling, let's rack up them Amex miles. Let's get that American Express card and charge everything.
Yeah. Well, you'd think that was a good plan at the outset.
It was a great plan.
Yeah.
But what Dylan didn't inform me is that you can't use American Express in non-American countries. And, I tried. I explained to a lot of very, very flamboyant merchants that this should cover the cost of the meal that I had just eaten, and they refused to believe me. Anyway, don't let that take away from what we did. First stop, Bali. Yeah. Indonesia, It was amazing. A lot of great traveling. I got a lot of great learning. Dylan, me personally, I loved the Jembrana Regency, especially Amlapura. I mean, it's literally the cleanest small city in Indonesia. I mean, What would you say your favorite administrative district was in Bali?
Dave, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be too cliche, but it was the Bulalang Regency. I mean, how can you not love Singaraja?
I know.
Where else, Dave? Where else are you going to see the only library of Lontar manuscripts in the world?
You mean the ancient and sacred texts on leaves of the rontal palm?
Yeah, exactly. They were stunning, gorgeous. Also, we got to see Putaoka Sukanta's house.
I will admit that was pretty great. The gift shop there, awesome. And it's been on my bucket list for a long time. I'm going to remember that for a long time.
Well, and we had to get into yoga per Mr. Craig's guru. He had a couple of things that he wanted us to hit. I did not enjoy that for one thing. I mean, Dave, me personally, I get into Chaturanga every single night just to watch my favorite police procedural, CSI Tulsa.
Yeah.
You know, the Stamos vehicle.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not sure where the enlightenment was supposed to happen there. I mean, if I'm not watching Stamos lead the investigation of a biochemical terrorist cell in the middle of America, like,
Yeah. Well,
what am I doing?
You know, I don't want to go too long about this because it's the Browns Friday Fumble. It's not a TV criticism show here, but I love the way that Stamos plays this. Like,
Of course.
he's always one step ahead of the terror cell, but like it's always just one step. You know, he doesn't know all their plans, but and the thing that Stamos really brings home in his performance is you could tell that he respects the terrorists. He doesn't agree with them, but he respects them as adversaries, and I think really that's why he ends up beating them. Spoiler alert.
Whoa.
Sorry, guys. Sorry if you're only on episode 4, but episode 6, wow.
The heat turns up for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was the yoga is whatever. But after Bali, though, Craig decided. I'm sorry, Mr. Craig.
Yes.
This is a different world we're living in now.
Strange times.
Yes. Mr. Craig decided that we needed a little jaunt stateside. Ended up at a California pizza kitchen outside of Universal Studios in Orlando.
This to me was one of the weirdest parts of Craig's plan because when we first got there, we thought we were just going to be eating there, but it turns out we were managing it. This was kind of an exercise. Dylan ran the front of house. I ran the back of house. It was challenging as hell, man. That's the firing line right there. But you know what? We had a hell of a team behind us.
We did. I mean, Hannah was my rock up front. When I was struggling, Dave, she picked me up. I mean, I owe a lot to her.
You know what? You want to be good to people in your life, you thank a line cook. I mean, the line cooks that I had at the CPK, special shout out to Connor. I mean, you guys kept me going. It is not a simple menu at California Pizza Kitchen. There's avocado and there's various peppers and you know, it was
a ton of avocado.
I mean, it's just an avocado everything. These guys are rock stars on that line.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, not only that, Dave, but it was super valuable. Just for us from a personal perspective to learn how to lead a team of men and women.
You know, they said we learned how to lead a team and learned about managing a restaurant. I learned a lot about myself.
Yeah, and that really, what was the real lesson, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we say men and women, but gosh, these were boys and girls.
They're children.
We led them.
Not even old enough to buy a beer, and they're out there on the front lines.
Yeah, I mean, trying to just translate this to our roles here at the podcast, and I feel like I can be the leader of this podcast that I need to be.
You know, I really agree with you, except for the one obvious fact that I am the leader of this podcast.
Okay, we already talked about this a couple times. Dave, you leave the back of the house of the podcast. I'm up front at the hostess stand of the podcast.
We'll get back into this once we're done recording, but it's time to move on. Listeners don't really care about that kind of stuff, but Mr. Craig, he had us shipped off once again. This time, a little bit of cloak and dagger. We didn't know where we were going. He put us on a private plane. It's one of those 2 propeller planes, kind of like in the beginning of The Dark Knight Rises, the one that Bane steals. It was one of those. So yeah, he sent us in that to special ops training. We don't really know. I don't know how much more specialized you can get than California Pizza Kitchen, but we were kind of scared about it, to be honest. But you know, frankly,
I was.
Yeah. I had learned to trust Mr. Craig at that point. Like he hadn't led us astray before, and so trust him.
Yeah, and boy, did we ever need to do that because it was pretty basic Black Ops training. heavy slant towards guerrilla warfare.
Yeah.
Obviously.
City to city, house to house, kind of thing.
Yep. We became fluent in 3 languages over the course of the next 3 months. I mean, a lot of went down next is top secret classified by the top brass over here at WFNY. But, we can play around the edges, fill in a few gaps here and there.
What we can tell you is that we were tasked by the top end of WFNY to organize a coup d'etat in an unnamed South American country, establishing a puppet leader and a, quote, democratic system.
Okay. All right. Dave, let me stop you right there. I think we've said quite enough already about that. And if Senor Lindau finds out about this, we're as good as tied up in the Sager Stadium.
Yeah, you're probably right. You know what? That brings us basically to the end of this. It was, what day's today? It's the 11th. So, yeah, about 10 days ago, we touched back down in Cleveland at Hopkins. And you know what? I'm sure, listeners, you guys have experienced this if you've done some long travel, some extended trips. Maybe you went backpacking around Europe. I came away so changed that the whole world seems different. Dylan, Did you notice that?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I passed the Cinnabon out there right outside security, you know what I'm talking about. I just felt like, I know that the change was internal. I know that.
Yes.
I know that the quest was
the world is the exact same as it was as we left it, except we're different now.
Except I'm different. I see the world different. I mean, people respecting personal space. I see just a whole slew of little idiosyncrasies that
Maybe
I never
it's
had
me.
before.
Everyone's washing their hands and just to be polite.
Yes.
It's like I don't even know why, and it's like, and it's not anything different. People have been doing it, but you know what? I'm picking up on their energies.
Yeah.
That I'm seeing the good in people. And I don't think I did before, and I really, I mean, I really have to go back to those Lantar manuscripts. I mean, you get to reading those, you really understand what life is about, So no look into the future would be complete without a little glimpse into the past, Dylan. And I know we just spent 9 months trying to clear our head of the past, but if we don't respect our past, dare we be doomed to repeat it, Dylan?
Yeah, well, the thing about this whole thing is the sabbatical was obviously, it worked its magic because, honestly, last season feels like 6 seasons ago.
Yeah, my time, because of the sabbatical, the time seems to be very strange. It's slow and it's fast all at the same time, football-wise. And we don't want to get bogged down in the 2019 disappointments. I feel the organization has moved on. The fans have moved on. Everybody's moved on. Like, the people who were responsible for the disappointments aren't around.
Yep.
But let's talk about some important points to remember.
Right. I mean, the big one, Dave, obviously the one on everyone's mind. Myles Garrett. We'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah, we will get to that. We will talk about it, obviously. Nick Chubb, the Christmas miracle, frankly, when he saved 42 orphans from the Good Time 4 as it sank to the muddy, murky depths of the Cuyahoga. We knew he was special before that, but that was kind of like running back-wise, we thought he was special. Like, this is not even this is superhero level special.
Yeah.
This is Superman looks at him and goes, wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, man, who can forget week 2 when we found out everyone on the defense actually hated Greg Williams when we faced him in New York?
Yeah, it turns out this guy was a real bastard. And who can forget the video of Mac Wilson teaching art history, specifically the Baroque period and the tendency towards tenebrism to the defensive backs. What a moment that was for everyone on the Wade Oval. Unfortunately, that's how he hyperextended his knee.
The now notorious Jarvis Landry and Todd Munchkin Monday morning bridge game. That, if we're being honest, they've probably had a large part in derailing the season early. I mean, those games got heated, especially when my aunt started showing up. She takes her bridge very, very seriously.
Well, she takes her bridge seriously, and she's also got that Hugh Jackson baggage because he was staying with her at the time and trying to learn things about the offense.
He certainly was.
Yeah, it's... Oof. And, you know, obviously we have to talk about the Thursday night matchup with former NFL quarterback Brett Mason Rudolph of Pittsburgh football. But obviously we'll cover that in a bit.
Yeah, we'll get there. You know what? Let's scrap all that, Dave, because the only thing that we really need to get any sort of time to from last season is that major thwomping. That major whooping that we put on the Baltimore Ravens in Week 4.
Yes. I would say having recently rewatched that game, in the last 10 days since I've been back home, the Baker Mayfield Browns, they marched deep into the Mint Bank Stadium, delivered a killing blow to Lamar Jackson MVP trophy winner Lamar Jackson and his band of criminals. And I would say that you called the prediction. It was a tale of two halves, because that game was tied 10-10 at halftime, or the Browns were up maybe 13-10 at halftime. It was close, and it ended up a resounding 40-25. Nick Chubb is still running from that play, and the storyline was all Browns all day, and that's all you need to take into this week. You guys, in these difficult times, everything is different. And not just from our perspective, having been on sabbatical. We got back, and we just watched Building the Browns. And just having been away, not knowing how the new regime was going to handle things, guys, these guys have cleaned house. And it appears that they've done that literally. They've literally cleaned everything. Dylan, you watched with me. We watched it together.
Yeah.
These guys have been thorough about cleaning.
You know what? You're right, Dave. It's thorough is the word. I think they're getting all the nooks and crannies of the organization and of the facility, to be honest.
Yeah.
They know that football is a pure game. And the brain trust of DePodesta, Stefanski, and Barry, they've left really no stone unturned in this pursuit.
First thing you probably noticed if you watch Building the Browns, and this is not just a Building the Browns recap podcast. This is a full Browns podcast.
Yeah, really expertise. Right.
They took everything not related to football in Berea, and they moved it out of there. They told marketing, sales, everyone that's not involved in football, go do your job somewhere else.
I mean, God, beyond that, Stefanski said, forget about minicamp, forget about OTAs. We're going straight to training camp, boys. Plenty of time to learn a new system. We don't need that extra garbage.
Yeah, and following in lockstep, which is why we are so big on this organization, they're all thinking on the same wavelength. Andrew Barry was able to petition the league to have the Browns preseason games canceled. Obviously, we don't want to put our best plays down on film for the whole world to see, so a brilliant move by the front office getting that preseason canceled.
My goodness. I mean, seriously, that was a stroke of genius. I mean, new offense, you don't want that on tape. My favorite thing that has happened so far, though, Dave, is what Paul DePodesta came up with when he's got every coach wearing like a surgeon's mask. Like that's
it's tough to describe if you haven't seen one. And I had not seen any like that until I saw Building the Browns. But it
Yeah.
it hooks around your ears
Mm-hmm.
and covers, I guess the nose holds it up and then kind of covers your lips.
Yeah, I remember talking about. Remember last year we were talking about smokescreen stuff with
Yeah.
Freddie Kitchens
Yeah.
playing battle chess while everybody else was playing Chinese checkers, and these three, Dave, they're playing StarCraft 2.
Yeah. Advanced edition.
I mean, eons, epochs ahead of the rest of the NFL.
Without further ado, we're going to introduce a new segment for the Friday Fumble this year. So take it away.
This is Kicking the Habit with Austin Seibert. Smoking is bad. It's bad for the body, bad for the lungs. It doesn't smell great. It leaves an aroma on your clothes and in your house. It bleeds into your walls, things like that. It's just not a very good habit to start. It really just, the long-term effects of smoking aren't worth it. And yeah, that's all I got. So back to you, Dave and Dylan.
Thank you, Austin.
Welcome to the team.
Hey, this is Hugh Jackson, and now it is time to know your foe. Back to you, Dave and Dalen.
Dave, it's been a while. It's been about 5 years. It's time that we took another stroll through the city streets of Baltimore and got to know our divisional neighbors a little better. Preferably, now disclaimer, preferably we do this on a brightly lit, Sunday afternoon around 1:30 or so. Full daylight, ideally among a crowd of potential witnesses,
The National Aquarium in Baltimore is an iconic destination for visitors of all ages. Somehow they were able to scam it away from Washington, D.C., which is nearby. But it's the crown jewel of the city, no doubt. This landmark institution holds over 2 million gallons of water and probably a bunch of dolphins and sharks and shit.
Oh, Dave, Baltimore's homicides in 2019 were a mere 348 and definitely did not set the record for homicides in a single year. That actually was in 1993, a mere 2 years before they somehow convinced the NFL to grant them an established, storied NFL franchise.
When you say Baltimore, I say crabs. Baltimore?
Crabs.
Baltimore?
Crabs.
They're everywhere. It's gross. They're rotten with them. They're the shells, the meat, the claws. It's gross.
Next stop on our little tour, we have the fine arts. I mean, the arts are so important for a community to fully meld and cultivate a living culture. And Baltimore has one of the great American institutions, the American Visionary Art Museum. This museum, Dave, is focused on the idea of outsider art. Lends its galleries to the artistic visions of the people. Farmers, mathematicians, criminals, among others, and a must-see on any visit to the Charm City.
Dylan, did you know that Baltimore only experienced 4,928 property crimes over the course of the entire year 2017? Color me impressed.
Ooh, wow. Dave, I know when you travel, you always get your little shopping bug.
Oh, hand me that Amex. Let's get those miles.
Let me tell you, Dave, Baltimore must have seen you coming a mile away. They have everything a man of taste could ask for. I mean, it says it right here on their website. It says, explore our quaint boutiques and independent shops. And never really get specific on where those are, though. So
Yeah, we tried to find one of them, and it was just covered in these goddamn crabs. And finally, Dylan, Baltimore really made some progressive moves in requesting the retirement of Ray Lewis, prompting an unprecedented 76% drop in crimes citywide committed by active Ravens players named Ray Lewis. So we're gonna level with you guys. We play the Ravens 2 times a year, and we do this podcast every year, except for the 1 year. We've done a lot of Ravens episodes, 8 to be exact. We don't have a ton to say about them, as the Ravens roster turnover is not as robust as, say, local teams here in Cleveland.
But Dave, but Dylan, you must say. What about Tyre Phillips? He's a rookie. The name Tyre is so funny.
And you're right, and the name J.K. Dobbins is ripe for clowning. But we just can't get into it. We would have to, there's just so much. Well, did we do this year, or did we do that last year? And frankly, there's only one man you need to know about the Baltimore Ravens. There's one man to know about the Baltimore Ravens. And that is Lamar Jackson. He's the cover athlete for Madden 21, a move that has been so highly regarded that the game has a Metacritic score of 0.2. That's not a joke. But, it doesn't stop there. Not just football fans are feeling Jackson fever. So he's picked up a lot more covers than just Madden.
This guy, he's not only the Lamar Jackson MVP trophy award-winning quarterback of the NFL and the namesake of said award. This guy, he's also the cover athlete for football. That's right. He's on the FIFA cover now. He's so good.
Get out of here, European guy who used to be on there. He's also, and this is a move personal to my heart, he's replaced Iron Man Stewart in the popular arcade racing game, which is now called Lamar Jackson's Super Off-Road.
Yeah. Dave, there's now a Lamar Jackson infantry unit in Command and Conquer Red Alert. This unit, he can destroy every single unit in the game by throwing a football towards it or running away from it.
Yeah, either one works. I don't know if a lot of you have bought physical copies of Taylor Swift's Folklore. It doesn't show up in the digital album art, but if you buy the vinyl, guess who's right there behind her in the woods? That's not a tree. That's Lamar Jackson. He's the cover athlete for Folklore by Taylor Swift.
All boxes of Cascade Complete dishwasher pods now have Lamar Jackson right there on the box.
But, unfortunately, with all the marketing going on outside of the team, the Ravens marketing people, they didn't really have the chance to use him much for internal stuff. So the program for the first week's game features supercalifragilisticexpialidocious running back J.K. Poppins from Ohio State, the university. All right, Dylan. Most people have fast-forwarded to this point.
Yep.
Because it's time to make the money. Now we're talking the money. It's time to talk the bets. Guess what? We're betting again. We're back in there. Back in that high dollar, low reward, high risk betting.
Yep.
We're betting Browns. You got the fierce tenacity to do it? Because we do.
Yeah, I hope they do, Dave. I hope they don't just sit at home and tuck their little wallets into their little safety drawers.
I'm gonna hide my money under the mattress. I'm gonna put it in the bank.
I'm gonna put this in a high yield savings account with a lot of APR points.
I better put this in a 529 to save for my children's college education.
Poindexter is my name. Yeah, well, buddy, I'm here to tell you, you better take your hand off that daggone wallet.
Hand it to me.
Hand it to me. Straight to me.
We just got back from Baltimore. We learned a few things. Hand it to me. Let me handle it. I will give you more money back in like 4 days from now.
Dave, it's gonna be a wild one down there at Mint Bank Stadium.
Yep.
They're about to be minting us some bank
Yeah.
coming out of there.
Yeah.
Dave, here's my prediction. Baker Mayfield, he's out for vengeance.
Yep.
Yeah, we all know this.
Yep.
Myles Garrett,
Yep.
he's out for vengeance.
He's out for vengeance.
He's got everything to prove. The whole team has everything to prove.
Donovan the Peoples Jones, he doesn't even have a reason to revenge, but he's out for revenge.
Of course he is. Dave, listen.
And he came from that team upstairs.
Up and down this roster that we have, we have guys that are so talented and so hungry and so vengeful. And they just have the wrath of the gods. So it's gonna be an execution style affair where we're gonna put 26 points on them in 3 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
In that 4th quarter, we're gonna pull every single starter.
Yep, it's time to rest them.
They're gonna be sitting on the bench.
We got a short week next week.
Yeah, we gotta give them some time to heal, and our second team is gonna let Lamar Jackson, MVP award winner Lamar Jackson, put up 17 points by himself. That's just a given.
And that's fine. That's why we built the lead.
Yep.
And I am 100% behind you on this.
Good.
We are going to win 26-17.
Wow.
And it's going to go down exactly like you said it is. The defense, I don't even know some of these defensive players that are going to be in there. Like, I don't even know who they are. And I'm a pretty big fan. And the guys that are going to be out there, since Andrew Berry had the preseason canceled, we didn't get a chance to see a lot of these guys. So we're going to need the 4th quarter of this game to get some of these guys some reps.
Yeah, take some notes, man. Take some notes.
Watch Myles Garrett for 3 quarters, pummel Lamar Jackson, MVP award winner Lamar Jackson, into the pavement for 3 quarters. Watch that. Take notes. And then you try to do it a couple of times. And are you as fast as Myles Garrett? No, you're not. But maybe you pound him into the pavement once, but one of the times he sneaks away and throws a football at a structure and it falls down.
I mean, you pound that guy into the pavement Bank Stadium.
Boom. 26-17. Browns win. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Our thanks go out to Austin Seibert. Our thanks go out to Carrie Ryan. And if you want to catch us on Twitter, follow us at Friday Fumble. If you were offended by anything in this episode, add us. My name is Dave.
I'm Dylan.
And this has been your Browns Friday Fumble.
It's Friday.